grinding corn to make flour, or milling. So in a mill, here's a mill, a stone, here is one stone, sits on top of the other stone, and it turns round and round. So the stone runs on top of the other stone. And a wheel turns these around. Here's the wheel. In this case, there's a man turning the wheel, or the wind can turn the wheel, or water can turn the wheel. So this wheel here goes round and round, and it turns this stone on top of that stone around. The corn is poured into a hopper. This thing here is called a hopper. The corn is poured into the hopper and comes down here bit by bit and falls into the hole between the stones, and then is caught up in the grooves between the stones and is ground into flour. And the flour comes out and falls into a trough here. And the meal, that is the big parts, fall through, and what happens is the fine flour is collected down here. Now, there are many kinds of mills. In ancient times, a long time ago, mills were first hand mills. That means the grinding was done by hand, one stone on top of another stone. And here's someone turning this one round by hand. But the other kind of hand mill was just a stone which you rubbed on top of the stone by hand. And then you had a horse mill, number 10 here. You can see that here is a big pole with a stick going across it, and as the horse walks around and around and around, it turns this around and around, and that then slowly turns some machinery here, and here we can see the two millstones at the bottom. Or a water mill. Here's a water mill. So the water is kept up in a dam, runs down through a water race and turns this big wheel, and then inside the mill we have a wheel here and the same kind of setup as we have here, and the flour collecting down here. Or a windmill. A windmill works the same way. The wind blows the sails around and the sails turn and turn this wheel here inside the windmill, and then that then turns the millstones, and then the fine flour is collected in the same way. And another kind is a tidal mill, because in some parts when the tide comes in and goes out again, like on the River Thames, the water flows one direction and then the other direction, and this can be used to turn a wheel, which can then turn the machinery and turn the millstones, and the flour can go into the hopper and be collected here as fine flour. So this is called a ship mill. This is a water mill. This is a windmill. This is a horse mill. And of course the hand mill is just when you rub two stones together, and then the flour is collected into sacks. Here's some sacks of flour. And this is called a mill. M-I-L-L, a mill.